Good. All right. So welcome. I've been sitting here patiently for since the beginning here, waiting anxiously to get on. So thank you very much for waiting for me. They always say save the best for last, and I guess that's why Terry is speaking after me. So for the last day and a half, we've been listening to people talk about SASK Polytech and the training and making sure we're doing proper repairs. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of them, Leanne, Andrew, Kieran, and so on and so on and so on. But in times that we've been in SAR meetings in the past, we've always talked about getting paid and making sure that things are being done fair and fast and so on. And there's been an overall theme in the last couple SAR meetings about doing the right repair. And we all know that it's come up from the John Eagleson case. And that was way down in Texas. And for those of you guys don't remember the ins and outs of that, that was a Honda Fit with a roof skin put on with Ford repairs methods, if I remember right. And, you know, the last thing that anybody wants to see is something like that happening in Saskatchewan. Let's see, there we are. So,
at least it's not a dog.
It's not a dog. Right up here, like we said, we didn't want to have anything like that happening in Saskatchewan. Well, I want to tell you that we're coming pretty darn close, and it's just lucky that we haven't been there yet. I've got a 2012 RAV4 on my frame rack here, as you can see, and I was asked to take a look at it. And the only thing I asked was, where was this thing hit? And it was quite apparent there was a really bad blend in the quarter panel up here, like it was blue to green and so on. And they said it was hits in the B pillar. And just pulling the weather stripping out, that's what I come across. No test welds, I would take it, and so on. You can see that it's still beat up. I can't say who, where, when it was done or whatever. What I can tell you is this was the second attempt at repairing this vehicle. So those are the welds that were put onto it. The on the picture on the left is the roof lost adhesion to the roof bows. The one on the right shows the inner rocker to firewall still in considerably. That rail was also buckled. The floor was still buckled. In this screen here, I want you to take a look at the sectioning locations. Pay attention to the lower rocker on A pillar, the top of the B pillar, and the quarter panel sectioning. You can see here that they wanted a section down here. They wanted a section up here. Hopefully you guys can see my mouse. And then they wanted it sectioned over here or here. This is where it was sectioned. Right below the hinge pillar. It was supposed to be sectioned right here. It was supposed to be sectioned here or here. It was sectioned here. And then it was sectioned up here as well. Now I know Paul Stella was on here and he said for small patches and so on that it could be, but if there was any inner construction damage, then you had to go the old school method. So this one definitely had some inner construction damage and it kept on going. We had a question earlier about 3D measuring. The picture on the left, and I'm sorry, I can't make the pictures any bigger than they are, because as soon as I do, it just gets all distorted. Basically, the red dots mean that there are points that are out. And then on the picture on the right is after we were done with it. Now, I know length, width, height, reading the measurements, everything's hard to see, so the nice thing with our Carolina 3D measuring system is that it gives us a nice bar graph. So again, the same measurements, but put in pictograph form. The ones on the left show the damage that was still in the vehicle. And then the ones on the right were after we were done with it. So with that, I was asked, what do I need to fix this? And I said, I need a whole nother side of the vehicle. So to fix this vehicle, we had to pull the dash, we had to pull the apron off, we had to pull the A-pillar off, the whole rocker, and replace that whole side of the vehicle. And now it's done and ready to go. So this is how close that we are in Saskatchewan to one of those John Eagleson cases. So again, can't say where, can't say who, can't say anything about it. That was under agreement to let me use these pictures and show you that. But this is why so many people are, and parties are after doing the repairs right, getting the proper training, using the right materials, and so on. So with that, I want to see what have we been doing at SASK Polytech. Well, this year, with no thanks to COVID, we had started a bunch of new initiatives. We've ramped up, we've hired more staff. We were really poised to be doing big things this year. And we have 2 pre-employment groups, one in each in Regina and Saskatoon. For apprentice groups, we have 3 level 1s. That's never heard of before. 2 level 2 intakes, 5 groups of level 3, and 4.5 groups of level 4s. Now you're probably wondering, why do we have 4.5 groups of level 4s? Is because one half of the group in Saskatoon was exactly halfway through their training, and then they got, the school got shut down. So we had to come up with some safety plans and make some exceptions, and we brought them back in, and they have now graduated, wrote their final exam here last week. We also started taking in international groups, and we talked about that at the last meeting. And so we have 2 international groups, one each in Saskatoon and Regina. We were supposed to have one of those groups graduating in the end of August, but because of COVID, we gave them a summer break. They're back into school now, and they were going to graduate at Christmas time. We had, when they were on a summer break, we instructed them to go out and find a summer job, and we gave them names of all the shops that had emailed me for which ones they could go to. Some of them were able to get some summer employment. They're back in school. I'm hoping that they had worked out for all those shops that hired them for the summer, and they will be ready by Christmas. The other one, the last one there, is 2 COET intakes. Now, COET stands for Creating Opportunity for Entry into the Trades, and it is a joint partnership. I partnered up with Dalton Mervold, who's our parts management program head, and Dalton is absolutely phenomenal at being innovative. We were able to secure some funding, and this is looking at getting women, Aboriginal, newly landed Canadians, giving them opportunities to get into the trade, and we're going to be doing 2 of those yet this year. So we've been doing a lot of groups. What does that translate into for you? This year, if everybody passes, we're going to be adding 40 Red Seal Journey Status technicians. We've never had that amount before. We have the capacity to do it. We actually have the capacity to do a little bit more yet. That's not totally up to us. That's up to you, the shops. And a huge thank you goes out to you guys for signing up those apprentices, sending them to school. And this number right here, if we can start doing that yearly, we are not going to have a journey status problem in a few years. With all the other groups that we're starting, and if they all graduate, we will be adding just under 90 new technicians to the province of Saskatchewan this year. So hopefully we shouldn't have any technician shortage. So that means in 4 years' time, if that and everything all worked well, that those people get signed up, they get put through the apprenticeship program, we could be putting 90 technicians roughly a year out into industry. Some of the other things that we got going on. Harmonization. Now, harmonization started out back in, it's been around for a long, long time, but the premiers of the day, I believe that would have been Premier Wall, Premier Clark, and Premier Redford, I think, all wanted to make it easier for apprentices to move from province to province. The feds got wind of this, and it became a national thing. And they went through the high output trades first, which was carpentry, electricians, plumbing, and so on. And then it started moving, I'm going to say, up the list to the auto body trade. We have, it was about 2 years ago, we met in Ottawa, and we determined in conjunction, or we actually followed the lead of trade advisory boards that were comprised of shop owners and technicians, and they dictated with our guidance what would be taught in each year. So that means that an apprentice in Ontario should be taught very similar to what's being taught in Saskatchewan, and so on and so on. With that being said, there's going to be some added learning outcomes. So there's going to be more steps that are going to be part of that. And also learning outcomes have switched. One of the ones that most notably to me, door servicing. So taking apart a door and putting it all back together is now no longer a level 1 learning outcome. It will be done now in level 2. Another one that comes to mind is plastic. Is now split up into 2 levels. It's taught in level 1 and it's taught in level 2. For the most part, Saskatchewan got away pretty much unscathed. Our training system and what we had per level will largely stay intact. So COVID, what's happening with the COVID and training? For the apprentices, they will lose little to no training time. Level 1s and level 2s are in school for 6 weeks, and level 3 and level 4 are away for 7 weeks at a time. But what's going to change, back in March when we got shut down, our staff went wholeheartedly into a program called Brightspace. And Brightspace was a format that the school is using to make online courses. So our staff switched gears and they did a lot of videoing. They did a whole bunch of new technology and so on. And we put all our content onto Brightspace, and SATCC, or SASK Apprenticeship, is using that to upload the theory. So that means if a level 3 apprentice, they're going to have roughly 2 weeks of theory that they can do from home during business hours. So that means they can't do this at night. SATCC demanded that it be done during the day. And once they're done their theory, then they're going to come into school for the final 5 weeks, just as an example. That means that when they're in school, they're going to be working full-time on their projects. Now, something that I really need to ask you as shop owners, employers, mentors, that if you have an apprentice, please make sure that they're proficient at, or at least have experience in what they're taking up in school, because there will not be a lot of time to be reteaching, driving home concepts and so on. Because like I said in my last point there, the training format does not take into account actual touch time or time spent on the project. During regular training, if a student had painted a vehicle, then while the paint was drying, we could go up to the classroom and we could do some more theory, or we could do some review, or we could do something else. We don't have that time anymore, so the students have to be able to come in, be proficient at what they're doing, and so that they can get their projects done, they can get a good mark, and they can be more profitable and productive for you, the employer, when they get back. Oops, let's go do that. Vehicle complexity and the harmonization and the new learning outcomes, and just all the stuff that's going into the vehicle. And you know yourself, pre and post scans, the different types of steels. We heard Gary and Paul talk about all the different types of construction. doing the sections and making sure that everything is calibrated and everything else is done at the end. It's no secret that it's taking longer, and there is more stuff to know in order to fix these vehicles. Now, this vehicle that I have on the picture in front of me is a 2018 Silverado, light rollover. You know, Tom keeps, talking about his grandkids knowing, just finding out that they had window cranks instead of just a button to roll the window up and down. And I'm from that school as well. And I'm looking at this truck, and, we'll put a roof skin, we'll fix the header bar, we'll do a couple things, simple rollover. Well, on that particular vehicle, it showed that the B pillar was down, the A pillar was down 12 millimeters, ultra high strength steel, non-repairable. Couple that with the damage on the rocker, damage to the roof. This is how far we had to take that cab down to fix it. And back in the day, get a porta power in there and jack it up and we'd be good to go. But it's not that way anymore. So why am I showing you this? We need an extra week added to each level. Now, I know Scott Nolan with SATCC had spoken about this back in the spring, right as COVID was rearing its ugly head. But really, the things that we want to do to make sure, and we need to do to make sure that the students and apprentices are getting the full scope of training so that they could be productive and profitable for you, and so that they have good training. We need that extra week so we can spend more time with ADAS systems. We can spend more time with pre and post scanning. Right now, if we're able to post scan it, we can look at what's wrong, and that's as far as we get with them. We want to be able to do more of that stuff. It is coming as a learning outcome. The other thing is, I mentioned already that level 1 and level 2 are 6 weeks apiece. 3 and 4 are 7 weeks apiece. Most trades are 8 weeks a level. What we're asking for is 7, 7, 8, and 8. And I know the AST, or the mechanics trade in Alberta, is currently looking at 9 weeks a level to teach all the stuff that they need to know on the mechanical side of this. So we really need your support to get this going. And if you're interested, or you're, I'm hoping and I'm pleading to you to make this happen, because it really does have to come from industry to support a move to get an extra week of training. We want to do more with the students, because there is opportunity here to make the students that much better for you and for themselves. All right, SASK Polytech and ICAR certification training. So what my dean, Paul Carter, and I'm hoping he's on the line here, hopefully he was joining us. When SGI came out and said we needed to be ICAR Gold class by March of 2021, Tom had reached out to Paul and said, Paul, is there anything that we could do about this? Because, this is quite a big cost involved. And Paul has a lot of experience in this area, and he's very good at finding funding and finding new and innovative ways to get training out there. And of course, Paul says, yeah, we've got this thing called a Canada Job Search Grant. And so what we did is we worked with ICAR, and we had lumped all the courses together into their platinum roles. And by doing that, we actually got the ICAR training suitable for Canada Job Search Grants. So under this Canada Job Search Grant, and I'll be speaking about it a little later on, but you can get up to 2/3 of your total education cost back. So from there, by doing this and going through the job search grants, what we did is we pulled one of my staff members, Mr. Jeremy Shaw there, you can see at the bottom. We pulled him off, put him on a special project just to handle this project to help you, your techs, your shops, to get through the Canada Job Search Grant and get through all the ICAR training and the hands-on welding certifications by March of 2021. His number, 306-659-4073. And again, this is Jeremy's full-time job, is to answer the phone call, answer the phone calls, and guide you through the whole process and make sure that you have everything done and in place so that you guys, your techs, can be platinum certified in their levels, whether it be one or multiple levels or whatever, to help you reach your ICAR Gold Class certification by March of 2021. How is the program going? Well, right now we have 97 students enrolled and 7 have graduated. Now that number of graduates is going to go up substantially, and I'll get to it in a minute why. And currently Jeremy is working with another 55 more techs. They're either in the process of getting their job search grants approved, or they've just been reaching out to Jeremy and seeing if the program is right for them. So again, that number, 659-4073, Jeremy Shaw. Now, the hands-on certifications. And yeah, that was just, if it was bad timing to say the least with COVID, for Saskatchewan shops, that's an understatement. We did say back in the spring how many people were taking hands-on certifications, and the percentage was around 20 to 30% of all the classes run versus the people attending to how many actually took it. It was only about 20 to 30% capacity. Well, then COVID hit and everything got shut down. The schools got shut down, ICAR shut down. And then about, what was it? July, ICAR came out and said, yep, we're resuming hands-on training. Well, that was in the States. Andrew Shepard, we had numerous conversations with him, with SGI, and Andrew said, it's, we're really closely tied to the schools and we're going to be following what the school's lead is. And so what we were doing all summer is we were working on safety plans. We were working on ways to get the training resumed. And I'm happy to say that training has resumed on campus, both locations. Saskatoon ran some classes last weekend. They were running some classes this weekend. Regina is booking classes, and they should be starting here in the next couple weeks. Also, those classes are going to be booked every Saturday and Sunday, with the exception of long weekends, Halloween and Christmas. Christmas will be, a good week or so. So what does that mean? That means that the instructors and the ICAR welding certification instructors are working their regular job for Monday to Friday, and then they are either teaching Saturday and Sunday at the schools, or they're going to be doing the remote certifications that SGI talked about. So these instructors are going to be working 7 days a week from now till March of 2021. So I'm figuring that they're going to be very burnt out. And one of those instructors, I'm just going to use as an example, Shane DeRogier from PAR. He just had number 4 here this spring, and he is committing 7 days a week. So if when SGI says, are we looking at pushing this back? No. SASK Polytech and the ICAR team is doing everything they can to make sure you guys are going to be certified by March of 2021. The other thing that we've done, some of the, for the online training, some of them were done by webinar, and I've taken some of those webinars, and I kept getting mixed up between Saskatchewan time and Eastern time and Mountain time and everything else. I'm used to when it's 6 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock. So Sid Petrosor, who is our resident Saskatchewan in-class ICAR instructor, he re-geared, retrained, and became a webinar instructor. So as the webinars are going through, when it says SID is running one in Saskatchewan at 6 o'clock. It's going to be at 6 o'clock. So you shouldn't be able to miss those. So, and just to expand on that a little bit, if you sign up through the Canada Job Search Grant and take the SASK POLYTECHNIC courses, Jeremy books that all for you. So, carrying on. When ICAR came out with all the new, their broken down course format, I shouldn't say broken down, it was divided up. As Kieran said, it was going to be, it's about the same length. You got twice the number of courses, but they're all shorter. What we did with SASK POLYTECH is we phoned up ICAR and we had a discussion about it. And we told them about our harmonization project. And it was time, we felt, for the harmonization Red Seal, or RSOS, it's the Red Seal Occupational Standard, to be compared to ICAR. So Dale Hawkins and I, Dale also expresses regret for not being here. Dale Hawkins and I, we took every single course we could. We compared it to the RSOS, and it also gave feedback to ICAR because they were struggling to get all their courses up and running online. So we were providing feedback to ICAR, but we were also comparing it to the RSOS. So we've got that one under, that one's not underway, it's all done. So we've done that. The remote welding certifications, I know that Kieran had mentioned it. We're going to be doing steel non-structural, structural, and the MIG braze certifications at 4 locations. So with that, I know Kieran had already talked about September 19th and 20th at Tisdale, 26th and 27th at Meadow Lake, 24th and 25th at Swift Current. And he said a 4th one was to be announced. Well, we have that 4th one, November 7th and 8th in Estevan at 5th Street Auto Body. Like I said, it was just confirmed. Tisdale, we got 7 students enrolled. Meadow Lake, we got 8. Swift Current, we got 11. We can take 12 welding students, and they can sign up as well for the MIG brazing. And if the MIG brazing doesn't fill with those students, we can take on more. So again, contact Jeremy and see if he can get you fitted in there. If not, also contact ICAR and to get in on those courses. So those are the 4 days that we have. The remote training dates are a logistical challenge, to be polite. And you know, if you're thinking about it, well, how hard could it be? Picture this: picking up your shop, putting it into a trailer, and going painting somebody's car out in their driveway. It's not that easy, but we've risen to the challenge, and we are going to be doing it. We have these 4 locations. So, all right. So I talked about this Canada Job Search Grant. Is Think Training expensive? Well, it isn't. Canada Job Search Grant, you can get up to 2/3 of your total training can be reimbursed. When you get approved for the Job Search Grant, you have up to 6 months to complete the course. And at that time, you will get your money refunded. That's tuition, that could be travel, that could be a number of things that gets taken up for it. So just to put things into perspective, it's something like if you took all the ICAR training, would cost you $24,000. If through the job search grants, if you got approved for everything and you took everything, all 8 levels, that price goes from $24,000 down to about $4,000. So it's quite a savings. The applications can be taken at any time, and there's no limit on the number of applications or the amount. I do want to say, though, that those grants do run out. They have a pot of money, and once that pot of money is done, it's gone. And they got to wait for next year to have it come back. And this is not just there for auto body. This is there for all industry in Saskatchewan. So, like I said, we have 97 students in this program already. So, but don't forget that there's welding trades, mining trades, agriculture, like there's a whole bunch of people that are applying for this. So if you're interested, you think this might work, again, contact Jeremy. Now, another one that just came across our desk, we found out about it, about just 2 days ago. And this one is Reopen Saskatchewan Training Subsidy. And this one is done in response to COVID. It came out June 30th of this year, and it's only going to be in effect till December 31st. And what this one is designed to do is to give $10,000 per eligible employer to train employees. So each business can receive up to $10,000 to train. So if, and I know I've been fielding some calls from across Saskatchewan saying that, well, we've done almost all the ICAR and the Canada Job Search Grant is just not worth it for us. Well, this is another route that you can go. Maybe you only have 1 or 2 welding courses to go, or just a couple courses left. Then maybe this is another one for you. If you get this one, the course must be completed within 4 months.
Hey, Scott.
Yes.
Sorry, I hate to jump in on you here, but the ICAR stuff is not Reopen Saskatchewan eligible, but there is a ton of other stuff that is. So we've got training around, protecting from infection. We've got training around bookkeeping and marketing and advertising and all of that kind of stuff that is Reopen Saskatchewan eligible that the shops can take advantage of. And the intent here is it's stuff that's not part of the regular part of your business, but things that you would do differently because of COVID, right? So because of COVID, you may have to market your business differently. You may have to advertise differently in order to be able to get your business kind of back on track. Tom's got my contact information. I'm happy to answer any questions on this one here, but I did speak to the director at the ministry that manages the Reopen Saskatchewan Training Subsidy, and it's the same ministry that manages the job grant. They won't put ICAR through the Reopen Saskatchewan, but they will. Of course, they will put it through the job grant. But there's a lot of stuff that we can offer in through the Reopen Saskatchewan. Applications are open till the end of December. And certainly we'd be happy to help. We do have, if you go on the SASK POLYTECHNIC website, there is if you hit the search bar and put RSTS for the Reopen Saskatchewan Trade Subsidy or Training Subsidy. So RSTS on the SASK Poly website. Search. There's a page recommends a whole bunch of stuff that are just things that we would recommend for this job grant. But we're happy to help anybody work through that if there's any training that you want. Unfortunately, they won't put the ICAR through that RSTS grant. Sorry about that.
Nope, that's fine. I clicked on the wrong thing, and we gotta try this again here. And there, should be back up there again. Thank you, Paul. And that's why.
Thanks for the bad news. Is that what you're?
No, thank you for the clarification. So, no, I did a quick read on the frequently asked questions, and that's what I put in there. So, no, thank you, Paul. Okay, there we are. Okay, so there was a few questions on training and so on, and what was acceptable and what was, we were talking about collision care certified versus ICAR Gold class, and there's a few things that I do want to mention here, because apprenticeship also falls within all the training myriad that's out there right now. I actually got a call from a pre-employment student that just graduated this spring, and oh yeah, my boss is signing me up for ICAR classes and so on, and I'm whoa. So I want to just try and lay out a bit of a training pathway for you. I want to point out that new and existing apprentices that are registered and attending school they are exempt from ICAR Gold class. So if you need 50% of your staff to be ICAR Gold class, that's 50% of your journey status technicians. But your apprentices have to be registered and must be attending school. When they graduate as a Red SEAL, then you become part of your numbers that you have to have 50% platinum status. Also, the question I think that Ben had asked on behalf of Ivan was, if you're collision care certified, then you don't need to be ICAR Gold class. But on the website, it says you still need to be ICAR Gold class. The answer to that is, if you're collision care certified, no, you do not need to be ICAR Gold class. But in order to maintain SGI accreditation, you need 8 hours ongoing training per staff member annually. So even if you're collision care certified, you're still supposed to be training each of your staff members for 8 hours a year. So when you do collision care certified, you've got some of your welding certifications, and those are renewable every 3 years. Now, a welding certification course for steel structural is 8 hours. Okay, so that one year every 3 years, you're going to have your certification. But there's the other 2 years that fall in between there. So again, taking stuff like putting them through the Canada Job Search Grant and getting them another platinum level, that'll work. Or if they're registered as an apprentice and attending school, they've taken care of that 8 hour training criteria that you need for accreditation. The other thing I talked about was the ICAR RSOS PLAR project. Any of the newly qualified Red SEAL technicians receive 79 ICAR points, up from 69. So anybody who's going through the ICAR Gold class and they send their Red SEAL into ICAR, they're going to get credit for 69 classes. And that's going to be spread out through all of the 8 levels of platinum that are out there. With the new RSOS harmonization, that number gets up to 79. So now the other thing, and we've advertised this for a while, we worked with ICAR, we got this going for all of Canada, that while the apprentices are attending school, sorry, Tom, I'm almost done here, sorry. The other thing is that when they're an apprentice in level 3 and level 4, they can get their ICAR welding certifications at a 50% discount while they're attending college. And we do our best to arrange those classes while they're at college. This is my ICAR standings right now. And, we're always looking at what is education. We look at spending a lot for education to try to get the least of. And when it came time for me to do my collision care certification, I couldn't find one of my tech's certificates. Well, not a problem. I just went to somebody else's and downloaded the certificate, because each and every one of us are trained up. So that means if I switch staff turnover or whatever, I'm fully certified at any given time. So try to shoot for the highest instead of the lowest, and then you don't have to worry about scrambling later on. So there you are, Tom. That's it. Anybody have questions?
You just took the last 2 speakers' time, so no, I'm just kidding.
I thought I had a half an hour. I thought I did right on time there. So thank you very much for giving me that extra time, Tom.
No problem. My mouth's full of rice pudding, so I got to be careful. I don't spit all over my computer. I don't think people realize just how lucky we are, like I said, to have SASK POLYTECHNIC in both Saskatoon and Regina, and to have yourself and Paul Carter that are driving this thing forward. Like we heard today from Andrew Shepard, you guys are cutting through all the bureaucratic red tape like I've never seen before. And our goal is and always will be to make SASK POLYTECHNIC the premier collision repair training center in Western Canada. So want to thank you guys for your commitment and the programs you put together. I love working with Paul. You just kind of mentioned it to him, and it's, well, he never says no. He says, let me see what I can do about that. And somehow or another, that guy figures out a way. I don't know how he does it. How do you take a milkman and turn him into a can-do kind of guy? I don't know. But anyway,
well,
thank
thanks,
you, Paul.
Tom. Thank you.
Paul. Any questions from the floor or any of our participants? You can go to the participant icon and click on raise your hand. You did a great job, Scott, of explaining the need for training and what's available. Everybody knows how to get a hold of you. But appreciate all you guys do to make our industry better. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
It is my pleasure.
You got her, man.